Welcome everyone to Cultural Misunderstandings, English for Travelers. Today, we'll explore how polite language can turn awkward situations into learning moments. Emily and Kenji, you recently met in Italy. What happened that set the stage for our topic?
Thanks for having us. During a guided tour, we started chatting. I noticed Emily used a hand gesture, something totally normal in her culture, but in Japan, it's considered rude. I felt uncomfortable, but wasn't sure how to respond at first.
That's such a relatable scenario. Cultural differences in body language can sneak up on anyone, especially when traveling. Emily, were you aware that gesture had a different meaning?
Honestly, I had no idea. Where I'm from, it's just a friendly signal. It was eye-opening to realize how easily an innocent habit could be misunderstood abroad.
Let's dive deeper. Kenji, how did you recognize that a misunderstanding was happening, and what signs might listeners look for in similar situations?
Great question. I noticed myself feeling uncomfortable and a bit surprised. Often, when someone reacts with confusion or silence, it can signal a misinterpretation. Being observant of nonverbal cues like facial expressions helps a lot.
That's insightful. Sometimes, people hesitate or change their tone when something feels off. Emily, did you pick up on any of these signals from Kenji?
Yes, I sensed a shift in his mood and realized he seemed less engaged. That's when I got curious and decided to ask if everything was okay, which opened up the conversation.
This brings us to apology strategies. Emily, how did you approach apologizing after realizing there was a misunderstanding?
I immediately said, "I'm really sorry, I didn't realize that gesture was rude in your culture. I wanted Kenji to know it wasn't intentional and that I valued his feelings."
Apologizing sincerely can make a huge difference. Kenji, how did Emily's apology affect your response?
It put me at ease. Her choice of words especially, I didn't mean to offend, showed empathy and respect. I was happy to explain the cultural background, turning the moment into a chance to connect.
After apologizing, clarifying intentions is just as important. Emily, what language did you use to explain what you meant?
I said, "Just to be clear, I meant it as a compliment." Using phrases like "what I meant was" helps ensure there's no lingering confusion.
Kenji, how do clarification strategies help in these situations, especially when English isn't everyone's first language?
They're essential. Clarification bridges gaps and prevents assumptions. Asking, "Can you explain what you meant?" creates space for open dialogue and mutual understanding.
Let's broaden the discussion. What are some common situations where cultural misunderstandings can pop up for travelers?
Gestures, as we've seen, are a big one. But even phrases or jokes can get lost in translation. For example, in some cultures, direct eye contact is respectful, while in others, it may seem confrontational.
That's a great point. I've read that even topics like punctuality or personal space can have very different meanings worldwide. Have you both noticed this during your travels?
Absolutely. In Japan, being on time is crucial. In parts of Southern Europe, there's more flexibility. Recognizing these differences helps avoid awkward moments.
Let's give listeners some practical tools. What are a few effective apology phrases that work well across cultures?
"I apologize, that was my mistake." Or, "I didn't mean to cause offense." These phrases show humility and a willingness to learn. Adding, "Thank you for telling me," invites further conversation.
Are there any expressions you'd avoid because they might sound insincere or dismissive?
Saying "whatever" or "it's not a big deal" can come off as disrespectful. It's better to acknowledge the impact, even if you didn't intend harm.
Now, let's focus on clarification. Kenji, how can travelers politely ask for clarification if they don't understand something?
Phrases like, "Could you explain what you meant?" Or, "I'm not sure I understand, can you clarify?" work well. They're non-confrontational and show genuine interest in understanding.
Emily, have you ever used clarification phrases to prevent misunderstandings in other situations?
Definitely. If someone uses an unfamiliar idiom, I'll say, "Just to be clear, does that mean?" It signals curiosity and avoids making assumptions.
Beyond language, empathy is crucial. Kenji, how can showing empathy help resolve misunderstandings and build positive connections?
Empathy means putting yourself in the other person's shoes. If you acknowledge their feelings, "I understand why that was upsetting," it creates trust. Studies show empathetic travelers are rated as more respectful and approachable.
Emily, what role does cultural awareness play in preventing future misunderstandings?
It's huge. Even basic research about local customs before a trip can prevent awkward moments. I now try to learn a few do's and don'ts for each country I visit.
Let's walk through a quick role play for our listeners. Emily, if you notice Kenji looks uncomfortable, how would you respond?
I'd say, I'm sorry if I offended you. That wasn't my intention. Can we talk about what happened?
Kenji, how would you reply to keep the conversation positive?
I'd respond, thank you for asking. In my culture, that gesture means something different. I appreciate your understanding.
That's a great example of respectful, open communication. Thanks for demonstrating. Before we wrap up, let's challenge our listeners. Can you recall a time you experienced or heard about a cultural misunderstanding?
Try practicing 3 to 5 apology or clarification phrases aloud. For example, I apologize for the misunderstanding, or could you explain what you mean? It's great practice for real-life travel.
We also encourage you to write or role-play a short dialogue resolving a misunderstanding politely, just like we did today.
Building these skills makes global travel smoother and more enjoyable. English can truly be a bridge between cultures when used thoughtfully.